Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is your daily go-getterism number 607. For June 1st, first day of June, 2016. Today we're going to talk about what it means to be grown. What does it take to be grown? We talk about being grown all the time. Being a grown-up. I'm grown, Mom. You're a grown-ass man. You're a grown woman. For the grown is sexy. We talk about being grown, but what does being grown mean? Is it an age thing? Is it a maturity thing? Is it a responsibility thing? Is it all of those things? You know, because young people can do things that a responsible adult will do. But people are going to turn around and still say he or she just a kid. Especially when they get in trouble. They're going to say they're just a kid. And there's a valid argument for that. So if you're 16 or 17 years old and you had a baby, you're responsible for another life. Do you automatically get bumped up to adult status? Even if your parents are really footing the bill for their grandchildren and really still taking care of you, because that happens a lot of times. You know what I mean? Some people have been kicked out of their crib when they had a baby, or if they had a baby on the way and they had to go live with the child's father, or the father went to live with the girl. I've seen that happen plenty of times when I was growing up. Crazy stuff, but it happens. Sometimes they got a place together, 16, 17 years old. Had to stop going to school for a little while. Maybe went back, finished. Sometimes didn't finish at all. Grown before their time, but were they really grown? Were they grown because they had kids? Because they was. Some people even call having sex the grown up. We're doing a grown up. They shouldn't even call it that, because you start having those sexual urges when you're young. And some of us started practicing having sex when we were young. Not me, though. Anyway, you know, what really qualifies a person as being a full-fledged, 100% grown up? I mean, you know, it's so funny because sometimes you hear people saying that they've been through it all, seen it all, done it all. And they're talking about the negative side of life. They're talking about, you know, they may have run from the law. They may have been, you know, sold drugs or been on drugs. They may have had children. They may have been in abusive relationships. They may have moved from one place to another. They may have been involved in all kinds of crazy situations. But does that make them grown? It definitely doesn't mean that you've seen it all and done it all, because you haven't seen it all and done it all until you balance the bad with the good and experience the good part of life. And when I say the good part of life, I don't mean just getting money, because a lot of cats out here running from the law, you know, selling drugs or whatever, hustling, and they're getting a lot of money, but they're not really enjoying life because they don't get a chance to. When somebody's always after you, when you are worried about somebody trying to harm you, kill you, steal from you, do you in? That's not a good way to live your life. You don't want that. You want something better for you and yours. So what makes you grown? What makes a person grown? There have been plenty of people who are over 18, over 21, over 25, into their 30s, and still haven't done a lot of things that grown people should have done. Like some people have never had their own apartment, never had their own house, never lived on their own, never had to pay their own bills. They've had their way paid for them some kind of way. I'll give you another scenario. Let's say you get married when you're young. Real young. Let's say you get married when you're 18, 19 years old. Maybe you even stay married 10, 12 years. Now, technically you've never lived on your own, but you lived with your spouse. So, you know, in that spousal situation, let's say your spouse was the provider, and that's whether you're a male or female. Your spouse was the provider, so you never had to worry about your bills being paid. They took care of that. You never had to worry about any real responsibilities because they handled that. So are you really grown, or are you just grown as an adult in age? Maybe there's a difference there. I never really thought about that. Maybe there's a difference between being grown and being an adult. Uh, is there a difference? I'm gonna put that question out there, see what we're working with. Because I never really thought about that before, but I think that's a question that deserves to be looked at. There are a lot of people out there in their 40s, never, that I know, never lived on their own, never paid their own bills, don't have any children, so there's no kind of responsibilities like that. Does it mean that they're not grown? Does it mean that they're not adults? Doesn't necessarily mean that. You can be grown in other kinds of ways. Maybe your maturity level are one of the things that can qualify you as being grown. Funny thing about maturity is that some people consider people to be mature as long as they don't talk too much. You know how they say it's better to be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt, however they say it. So that's like saying, as long as you keep quiet, just nod or whatever, people will think like, oh, okay. They don't be running off at the mouth, saying all kinds of crazy stuff. But you don't know what they know. You might not know anything. But you might consider them mature because they're not acting like they know things. And people who aren't very mature often act like they know things that they really don't know. And people who do know sometimes catch them out there and they kind of look stupid. And if you're really immature, you get mad. You get mad, start hurling insults and things like that. Is that a grown person? Is that an adult? Is that something that a grown person would do? Maybe. There's some grown people out there who have young minds. But you can be young and grown, can't you? 21 years old. You're an adult. But people probably not going, like middle-aged people and senior citizens probably aren't going to come to you for advice. Not that you don't know anything. You might be a child prodigy in some area of expertise. So are you grown enough? What is grown? What is being grown? Whatever being grown is, I think that you pretty much feel it when you're practicing being grown instead of saying that you're grown. I think part of being grown is not having to say that you're grown. Because if you really are grown, your actions speak for itself. But sometimes when we're not really grown or not doing things that grown people should do, sometimes we say that we're grown. You can't tell me what to do. I'm grown. Yo, man, I'm grown, man. I'm a grown-ass man. Man, go ahead with all of that. Man, I'm grown. I ain't got to do nothing. You say, I'm grown. You're grown, but you're living under somebody else's roof. And you're rebelling against somebody else's rules that they govern under their roof. So you really want to be grown, you got to get out there and do grown people stuff. But we're going to take a better look at that. This whole adult versus being grown thing. We're going to do it at another time, though. I don't want to saturate this. You know what I mean? But I would say that in order to be grown, you should handle yourself in a responsible manner. You should think about your actions before you talk or before you do things. You should be conscientious and considerate of other people's feelings. You should work. You don't work, you don't eat. So you should work. Whether you have a 9-to-5 job or whatever, you should have some type of income, even if you hustle. There are plenty of legal hustles out there. And if you have that entrepreneurial spirit and you are diligent about yours, that's some grown man shit, grown woman shit. There are plenty of people who do it. So, pay your bills, handle your responsibility, take care of your loved ones, be considerate of other people's feelings, think before you speak, think before you act. Those are some of the things that make you grown. Love of learning, educating yourself, whether it's in school or whether through meeting people going out there and getting in touch with people, learning from other people's experiences, learning from your own experiences. Some grown people stuff. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. And remember, when you talk about being grown, you got to represent when you're a grown person. You're a grown man, you're a grown woman. You don't have to run around here talking about how grown you are. You let your actions speak for yours. You have your own, you're paying for your own. You take responsibility for your actions. You're considerate. You take other people's feelings and thoughts and advice into consideration. Yeah, that's grown. Acting in a responsible manner. Not centering the world around you. That's grown. It's grown enough. Check out the Urban Therapy with Son show tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, we're going to be talking about child support. But we're going to be talking about child support in a way that is not normally talked about. We're going to be talking about child support from the father's or the non-custodial parent's point of view. Trying to control how the child support money is spent. Now, you know you can't really do that, but some people try to do it, and we're going to look at that tonight. So you pay your money, probably through the court system. It comes right out your check. But you're going around checking to make sure that money is getting used for what it's supposed to. So you want to make sure that your money is being used for your child or your children. So your baby mom better not be running up here with new Gucci bags, Louis bags, looking all fly, your kids looking like bums. Or other kids that aren't yours, that are siblings of your children. They dressing like Cinderella's sisters. And you got rags like Cinderella. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. It's going to be deep. Real deep. So check out the Urban Therapy with Son show tonight. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in number 347-677-1533. Or listen to us online. blogtalkradio.com/Son752. And we'll get with y'all later. Y'all have a great night.